Hi fellow pickers, welcome to a lesson on my version of CC Rider. Let's talk about the tuning first. I use a kind of an open G tuning, but I modified the G tuning a little in tuning down this sixth string to a C instead of D. Okay, so we got C. The fifth string has to come down to G. We can leave the D, G and B string, and the first string has to come down to D. So again, C, G, D, and then G, B, and D. And for my voice, I need the capo in the third fret. Of course, as soon as you have learned the song, you can leave away the capo or put it wherever you want. Okay, now let's start with the intro. We have alternating bass on 5th and 4th string, and we start with this chord shape here in the 5th position. We have 7th fret of the 5th string played with the ring finger, and the index finger has the 5th fret of the D string on the 4th string. We just do this. Okay, then we bring this down to another chord shape in the 2nd position, where we have the index finger in the 2nd fret of the D string and the pinky in the 5th fret of the 5th string. Right hand wise we do just the same, and so we got. And then we come back to here and play the first 3 notes of this chord and leave away the 4th note for the moment. Okay, again. And then we go up here, so we bring these 2 fingers to the 7th position, and we start by playing the D string with the index finger. I mark these notes with where the index finger plays on the bass string, on the D string. Mark them with an I in the tablature. And this note is a syncopation, so that means we play this note before we play the bass note of this chord. And this sounds like that. Okay. So this is the syncopation. And after the syncopation, we have this 5th string, 1st string, and then 4th string and 2nd string together, and the open G string. So this is what we do on this 4th chord, this A minor 9/11, after we have played the syncopation. From the beginning, this sounds like that. And then we repeat the same whole thing. And then we come to the first verse. So this is the intro. Okay, now the verse starts the same as the intro, See, see, rider, see what you done. But now I release all the fingers and have this open G chord, and we still have alternating bass. And I think this is what I played in the performance, but I could just as well have played something like that or like that. So this is just a matter of taste, and I do this spontaneously and do it differently every time I play it, so you don't have to play what I've written down here. Much more interesting are these two approaching notes here, 2nd fret and 4th fret of the 5th string. So the whole bar, sorry, again. So the whole bar would sound like that. And these two notes here will lead us into the next chord. In between these notes I played some open strings. Okay, and from the beginning this sounds like that. See, see, rider, see what you done done. Okay, in the next bar we use this chord shape, which looks like an A minor chord. So if we were in normal tuning, this would be an A minor. Here in this tuning we have a C6, if you leave the D string away. Okay, so this is a C6 chord, and what we do, first we play 2 4th notes, and then when we get to the 8th again, we have to release the ring finger to get the open G string here. And afterwards we play the D string, so the alternating bass, and the open string again. And then we have this melody. Okay. In the next bar we bring in the finger again and release it again. So together. These two bars sound like that. Again. See, see, rider, see what you done done. And then we have this melody here, and this lick recurs throughout the whole piece, again and again. This starts with the open bass note, and then we have a slide from 3 to 5 on the 2nd string. I use the pinky for that. After the 2nd bass we come to the 3rd fret, bass again, and then open 2nd string. And at the end of this bar we have this trick here, which is a pull off from 3 to 2 on the G string. And as you can hear, this pull off is in combination with a bass note. When you pull off the 3rd finger, this note here, this A note, is ringing. At the same moment you should try to play the bass note. So from the beginning of this lick, then we release the 2nd finger and bring it to the D string, also in the 2nd fret, and after that we play the open G string note. get this nice melody here. All on top of our alternating bass. The rest are open strings. So the whole line would be see, see, rider, see what you done done. Again, see, see, rider, see what you done done. Now we play the same thing with different lyrics. You made me love you, now you good man, he done come. Now the next two bars can be entirely be played out of this chord shape here, which is a D9th chord. We have the second fret of 6th, 3rd and 1st string. This is middle finger, ring finger and pinky, and we need the index finger in the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And we have to just have to keep this chord. And this would be the next two bars. With the singing, this is you made me love you, now you good man, he done. And then we end up in this open G chord. All strings are open. And then we come back to this chord shape, which we call a C chord in the intro. Because we didn't use these two strings, what we now do, and so this can no longer be named as a C chord, but now it's a C major 7th. This is the major 7th, and here we have an additional 9th. Okay, and we play the first note of this chord as a syncopation again, like that. Again, we play this syncopation with the index finger, right hand, index finger, on the D string. Then we move up to this G chord that we also used in the intro. And this A minor 9/11th, and again we have the syncopation here. Okay, so two syncopations in these two, in the last two bars. I'm sorry. These are the last two bars of this line, and together with this D9th chord, the whole line would sound like that. You made me love you, now you good man, he done come. And then we just repeat the intro. Okay friends, let's play the whole verse now. See, see, right there. You done done. See, see, rider, see what you done done. You made me love you, now you good man, he done come. You made me love Okay, the solo starts with a slide from 3 to 4 on the G string, and this slide is in combination with this bass note here on the 5th string. So when you reach the 4th fret here, you should also play the bass note. Then we release this finger in order to get this open G note here, and then we bring the index finger to the 2nd fret of the D string, and this note is played by the thumb. And after this note we have the G string note again. Try to keep this note here short and release it once you've played it. So don't hold this note like that, but release it again. Okay, then we have this note in the 5th fret of the B string. And after we've played this bass note, we do the same thing again. And this time we play the 5th fret of the 1st string. This is the only difference. Bass note again, and then we start the same thing for the 3rd time. This time we're on the B string again, and we have 2 notes, 5 and 3. Then an open B string note. And another slide from 3 to 4 in combination with a bass note. This time the bass is here on the D string. Okay. And at the end of this line we have 3 strummings, beginning with reverse strumming, so upward, then downwards and upward again. Okay? Okay, the whole line. Then we come back to this C6 chord, which looks like an A minor. And this is what I play in these 2 bars. We have a melody on the G string, consisting only of these 2 notes, 2nd fret of the G string and open G string. So it's an in and out of the ring finger here. And in the 2nd bar of these 2 bars we also release the middle finger. Although you could also leave it in, then it would sound like that. Okay, in our case. And then we have something very similar to our lick that we've learned in the verse. And of course you could also play the same lick as we learned in the verse. Here I had a little variation, and just feel free to play the variation, which is only in rhythmical aspects. So the melody notes are the same, but the rhythm is a bit different. So feel free to play this or what you already learned. Okay, the whole line. In the next line we have the same chord shape, And we have the same melody here on the G string. But this time these melody notes are not the highest notes, because our highest string now is the second string, where we play the C note. Okay, and another difference is that we use the open D string instead of the second fret of the D string. But of course you could also play the second fret of the D string here, and don't release this finger. But in the performance I played, this is only a little difference. And then we have same lick as above, and of course also here you can play the first lick that you have learned, because it doesn't make much of a difference. Now we have the same D ninth chord again that we had before, and all we have to do is to lift the pinky for this open D string note. This is a D string now, so for the open first string note, then we bring it in again and lift it again. So this is, and now we only have to use the pinky for 3 and 4 on the G string, and then the same thing that we played at the end of the verse. And this is the whole solo. And now the whole solo. Okay folks, that was my version of CC Rider. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and as always I'd be glad if you welcomed me back soon for another lesson, and in the meantime have fun, take care, thanks for watching, and bye bye.